Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is Juliet. Today we are going to be drawing a little guy with some colored pencils. And starting off, I'm just kind of sketching out the rough shape of it with these Prismacolor Coal Erase pencils. I really like this purple shade. It was kind of not showing up on camera as much as I wanted to, but that's fine. These guys are really nice because they have an eraser on the end, so if you do make a mistake, you can erase it, but obviously with colored pencils, sometimes they don't fully erase, so you do have to be mindful of not pressing too hard. And I kind of struggled a little bit making this guy's hands and feet, so I will erase that part. You'll kind of see that later on in the video. And I just wanted to kind of do a little cutesy cottagecore vibe. Have my little candle going and my string lights, feeling all fancy. But yeah, I wasn't really sure where I was going with this drawing. I kind of cut it out so you won't really see, but I knew that I wanted to draw the guy with somebody on his back. And originally I was thinking I was going to do a field mouse vibe, but then I changed my mind and you'll kind of see what I ended up going with. And I knew that I wanted him to be holding onto a mushroom. Originally I was thinking I was going to have him kind of in a running away from something pose, but I felt like the mushroom was a little bit more cute in what I was going for. And then yeah, this bottom foot I really had a lot of difficulty with. I wanted it to be him have weird toes, and it just was too weird. I wanted him to be when tree frogs stick onto something, but it ended up being a little bit too creepy looking, so I went back and did that one a couple times. I love the hands. The hands were my favorite part. They were great. But the foot I had a little bit of difficulty with. And I always really love drawing frogs and toads, but I'm not the best at it. I feel like they always kind of just look a little off. So I'm probably going to keep practicing that. I've been really happy with how the colored pencils are going in general, though. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos. So I feel a lot more confident with this one. I didn't really love. I've been trying to work on some portrait studies, but I've just been using pencils for that. And I would really like to work up to doing a little bit more of a realistic portrait that's actually supposed to look like the reference. But I'm not quite there yet. And for this one, I actually did a little bit of the Ohuhu markers too when I color this guy in, and that was fun to work on kind of layering them a little bit more. Especially for me with the colored pencils, the only reason that I feel I really struggle as much as I do is I can get really bored layering them. So being able to kind of cut out a lot of the work with the colored or with the markers is really been helpful for me. And I need to get better at markers too anyways, because it's not my favorite medium. And then I feel like this toe still looked really weird, so I kind of went back and rounded him out, kind of flattened him. I wanted to look like he was grabbing around the mushroom, but I don't know. The angle's a little bit off, but it ended up looking cool when I colored it in, so. And then I just kind of went in, I lightly erased the sketch just so that it didn't kind of bleed with the Ohuhu markers when I laid it down. So I just went over it with a kneaded eraser. And then I kind of I wanted to block in a lot of the color. So I went in on this little gnome guy that I ended up going with, which I thought was really cute and fun. I wanted him to kind of have a little blushy nose and cheeks vibe going on. And I think that the Ohuhu's really got that, so that was nice. And then I went with blue because blue is my favorite color for his little hat. And as I'm rewatching this, I don't really know why I gave this man such a distant stare. Maybe they are running from something and they're just chilling on this mushroom, but I feel like I really gave him some crazy eyeballs once I color that in later. Which was still fun, but not exactly what I intended to do. But I always like whenever you draw something and it kind of ends up you got a little story going on that you maybe didn't intend to have. So that's fun. And then you can't see it yet, but I love his little hands. Little hands holding that little rope. So cute. I just wanted him to have little teeny fingers. So it was kind of hard to fit it in there, and I hope you can see it later on, but I thought that was really fun with his little weird face. But he was really fun to do. I think sometimes when I'm drawing, I tend to lean more towards like realism things when I'm like really trying to draw something. Um, and I don't always make time to do little fun things like this, but it was so nice and I was having so much fun doing it. So I'm definitely going to try to do more like whimsical type things, especially for what I record. Um, Eventually with the realism stuff, because that's kind of more what I'm comfortable with, I would love to do some like tutorial type videos, but I'm still just trying to get the hang of this whole like recording myself thing. It feels like super unnatural to me to be talking into the void, but hopefully somebody sees this video and you will enjoy it because I enjoyed making it. And the editing process has been getting a lot easier too. That's another thing I definitely struggle with, but I liked the way that this video ended up turning out, and it's getting a lot. I'm getting a lot better and a lot quicker with editing, so hopefully I'll be able to start posting more often. I've hit my goal of at least doing something a week, so hopefully I can keep that up. And then for this froggy guy here, I went over. I didn't really like the original green that I picked. I felt like it was a little too like cold and too cartoonish, so I went over it with that kind of yellow color that you saw there, just to kind of tone it down a bit. I wanted him to little be like more swampy looking. And I really like the color that it turned out, so that was cool. And then for these little mushrooms, I wasn't exactly sure what vibe I was going for just yet, so I do end up layering a couple things over this dark color. I was expecting it to be a little bit more of like a reddish mushroom, like the ones with like the little white dots on them. But this color ended up being a lot darker, and especially on camera, it turned out very brown. So I kind of had to pivot with that, but I think with the color that I chose for his eyes and everything towards the end, it really does kind of look more cohesive. So I think it turned out good, anyways. And it was really fun to do. One thing with the Ohuhus that I'm still just don't quite have the hang of is like when you layer them, sometimes the darker color that you layer over it really kind of leaches out some of the color, if that even makes sense. And it'll be lighter than what I'm expecting. So when it comes to layering these, I don't quite understand how the color's going to leach out just yet, and it can be really frustrating. So sometimes it'll kind of get a little bit more patchy, and I don't know, some videos that I see with people do hoo-hoos, they are just like blended and creamy and perfect looking, and I'm just not there yet, but still a lot of fun to work with. And then for the little froggy, I wanted him to have kind of like a bumpy, rough. I don't know. He's a frog toad guy. I don't know which one he really is. I feel like I gave him like toad spots and like toad face, and then like little tree frog hands. So I guess he's just like a little mixed up weirdo. But for these little bumps, I kind of wanted them to look like nice and highlighted, so I went over with this nice, like kind of sea foamy green, which is actually the shade light green, and that's the Prismacolor Premier pencil. I really like using these specifically for the actual like highlight colors because they're a lot softer than the polychromos, and I feel like they actually like pick up better, especially with how hard I push, because a lot of times with the polychromos, I accidentally like burnish things when I'm not intending to, and then it doesn't really pick up when I try to highlight, which is just super annoying, but definitely a skill issue for me. Um, but I've gotten a lot better at it over the years. I'm more mindful when I'm drawing now to not push so hard. But you'll see me, I got like a little death grip on that pencil, ain't getting away from me. But like, look at that. Look at that gray highlight. It looks so nice. But I really wanted the lighting on this guy to be like a little like magic, like fairy tale enchanted lighting. So I tried to kind of do that for the mushrooms specifically. I want them to be like nice and shiny. And then I really just went over kind of what I already colored in with the Ohuhu, and just kind of wanted to have like a little bit more dimension and just to be more colorful, especially with what I said earlier, because I haven't really quite gotten good at mixing the markers without them getting muddy. So really being able to like add pops of this like pink and everything once I was done with the base colors is a lot more comfortable for me. And when it is looking good off the rip, I am happier and then I'm having more fun. So this was really nice to do. And then I kind of had to take a break from those mushrooms because I was not a fan of whatever that yellow thing that I did there underneath the mushroom cap was. I did end up fixing it, which I just had to keep like going back over it to get the effect I wanted to, but that was annoying me. Um, but I was able to get it to work, so patience won. And then I kind of went around this one. I'm using the polychromos to actually line with because I feel like it kind of shows up a little bit better. And then because I do push kind of hard when I'm lining things, I feel like the Prismacolor Premier, because it is so soft, I have to like sharpen it a bunch and then I feel bad like I'm wasting the pencil. So definitely like the polychromos when it comes to like anything finishing that's not highlight related. So that's nice. And I almost actually went over this with Micron instead, and I am so happy that I didn't do that. With a lot of the like tattoo style art that I do as well, I feel like I'm pretty comfortable with the Microns, and I sometimes use them when I don't think it is appropriate for the type of art that I'm going for, and then it ends up looking a little bit, I guess, just too dark. I like how having this like purpley outline kind of kept it a little bit more like I wanted to feel like children's like storybook vibe, and I feel like that worked a lot better for this. And then I love these little pupils that I gave this guy. I can't even remember where I've seen people do this before, but I always love when somebody does like a funky shape on the pupils. So I wanted to try that out. And I really liked it. I feel like he looks so dumb and cute. With his little weird eyeballs. Um, but yeah, and then I just went around. I pretty much lined the whole thing with this dark pencil. I don't think I really changed colors on that. I just tried to make it a little bit darker in certain areas. Ooh, that was so satisfying how quick that was. I can tell you right now, in real time, it did not go that quick to line those little feet there. Um, but the magic of editing. And then I added in these little sparkle guys, which I am not the best at doing. I always have them like wonky shaped, which pisses me off. But I was able to kind of fix it with the darker pencil. I don't know how people just like freehand those and get them like perfectly diamond shaped every time. It is not for me. But that was pretty much it. Thank you for watching. Bye.